Loans.com. Quicken Loans for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
Speeds are up at Vegas as the new qualifying format goes into its second race. Can Childers make it 2 in a row with Harvick?
Awesome freaking job, guys.
Matt Kenseth already has 3 wins at Vegas. Can he hit another?
Yes! Thank you, Lord. Thank you for putting me here.
Things are underway in Las Vegas today. Just a short time ago, Daytona winner Dale Earnhardt Jr. signing autographs. And Kevin Harvick looking to follow up on last weekend's win in Phoenix, as well as reigning Cup champion Jimmie Johnson getting ready to roll. Welcome to NASCAR America. I'm Rick Allen. The race weekend is upon us, and cars already have been on track today. Let's take a look at the highlights from that first practice session.
You think those jets are fast?
Trying to keep the momentum up, Kevin Harvick ready to go, as is Jimmie Johnson. Carl Edwards strapping in. Jeff Gordon, he's won at Las Vegas before. Denny Hamlin last winter on a 1.5-mile track. He's strapped in. Martin Truex Jr. has problems early. An oil line comes loose on the 78. That'll send him into the garage. He actually was able to get back out during the practice session once they fix that oil line problem. Jimmie Johnson goes out, posts a pretty good lap early on. Only was out there for 11 laps in that session. Kyle Busch, also strong at Las Vegas. He's been able to get to victory lane before at his home track. Jeff Gordon, also a winner at Las Vegas. 6 top 5s at that track. He's trying to find some speed there at the 1.5 miles. The 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. a little bit loose, running right up against the wall. He kisses the wall. They'll have to do some work to the right rear of that car. Kevin Harvick not being able to find the speed that he had in Phoenix last week. He was 20th quick in this session. Joey Logano a little loose coming out of turn 4. Our experts were telling us that that was going to be a handful in this race. And the fastest car on track, the 99 of Carl Edwards, that Aflac Duck, along for a great ride. Here are your speeds from that first practice session. Carl Edwards, Joey Logano, Jimmie Johnson, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., all posting times fast enough that would break the old track record set by Casey Kane. They're hoping to keep that momentum going in qualifying later today. And Kelly Stavis is in Las Vegas, and she's with Jeff Burton, who is fresh off the track from Cup practice.
And he's just climbed out of the car after Cup practice. Jeff, how does the 66 feel today?
Well, you know, we're not as good today as we were yesterday. We made some changes last night and kind of went the wrong way, but now we're just kind of regrouping a little bit. Winds changed a lot too, so that's really affected the way we get through 1 and 2. 1 and 2 was our strong point yesterday, and now we're not as good down there.
You're about to do the qualifying under the new procedures for the first time. What did you learn by watching Phoenix, and what will be your strategy today?
I think going early is the right thing to do because it opens the door. If you need to make another run to try to transfer, it opens the door to be able to do that. And here with the tires the way they are, you might actually run faster the second time. If you can run only once the first time, that's what you want to do. But if you wait till the end of practice to run, then you don't have that opportunity. Then to qualifying to run, then you don't have that opportunity. So probably going early makes sense. Going out and cooling the engine like we saw people do at Phoenix, that makes sense. And just try to transfer. And then once you transfer, I don't know if you'll really have enough time to get it cooled down to make more than one run. But then I think then it's probably just one run from then on.
Well, speaking of getting them cooled down, we saw a lot of guys doing the slow laps at Phoenix to get those cars cooled down, and there was a lot of talk that they need to be allowed to properly cool them on pit road. What's your take on that?
Well, I understand why NASCAR doesn't want to force to open the hoods, but I think what we could do is we could move the lines out of the radiator, move them up to the cow flap where the cow flap opens, and let people hit the water in that area. So there's really nothing else you could work on by just working in that area. I think that would free up something on the race. I don't think it's going to be a problem here because there's enough apron, but there's some racetracks we're going to go to where that's going to be an issue. At the end of the day, it's the same for everybody. You know, the rules are the same for me, they're the same for him, and it's just taking advantage of the rules the best. But it would make our life a little easier if we could cool them down.
Your first race of the season, the first time on an intermediate track with this new aero package. What are the team's expectations Sunday?
Well, you know, that's a good question. We expect to come here and run well. You know, we expect to have a good showing and perform well. And then, you know, we're new together, so, you know, what kind of, you know, are we going to communicate the right way? Do we get our car the way it needs to be during the race? Am I going to do a good job? You know, a lot of things that every team in here is worried about. But, you know, this is my first race of the year. Everybody else has some racing under their belt with the 150s and everything else. So, you know, we're playing behind the 8-ball a little bit. But still, we want to go out and perform well.
The mayor, Jeff Burton, ready to make his season debut. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Kelly. In just a couple of hours from now, it's Sprint Cup qualifying. Remember, it's 3 rounds because we're at a 1.5 mile track. Tomorrow, we'll have 2 Cup practices, followed by the nationwide race at 4:15 Eastern. Sunday, it's the Cobalt 400 with the green flag dropping at approximately 3:16 Eastern. So another busy weekend at the track. And to break down this week's stories, let's check in with our Charlotte studio and Marty Snyder and Wally Dahlbeck.
Always fun to hang out, Rick, with Wally on a Friday afternoon here in our Charlotte studios. And we just heard Jeff's take. He's fresh from the race car. I want to get your take on what you think will happen this weekend during the race, Wally.
This is a perfect place to try out this new rule package at Vegas because the racetrack is wide if you got 2 or 3 lanes. Normally when the cars go faster and we get the rules and the cars go faster, you don't want to be around anybody. You want to be single file because you're trying to get all the air on your car and it's hard to race side by side. But this is a perfect place to see if this package is going to be successful or not.
I'm interested in your take because clearly in your time behind the wheel, you had a lot of rule changes you had to deal with and the adversity it throws at you as a driver. What are those challenges a driver faces when you get a new rules package like this early in the season?
It really depends if it favors your driving style or not.
Huh.
That's the whole key. You know, I remember changes when the NASCAR Cup Series went from bi-splice to radials. There were guys that said, man, this is great. This is what I've been looking for in a car. And the guys that were comfortable on those older tires really struggled. So it really depends which way the wind blows. If all of a sudden your style adapts to those changes, hooray.
For the drivers that are currently in the series, who are maybe some of the drivers that adapt the best to rule changes, you think?
Well, I think it's not so much the drivers as it is the race teams. I think the race teams that have the best resources make those changes and the drivers adapt more quickly. You got a Penske, you've got a Gibbs, you've got a Hendrick. Those are the teams that really have the resources. They can do the models. They've got all these engineers working on that stuff, so it can happen quicker that way.
Always a good bet, Rick, to stick with those experienced race teams. They always seem to find their way to the front, don't they?
Stick around. I want you guys' take on the new IndyCar changes that are happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wally's got a very interesting take on that, both from a driver and a fan perspective. We'll be back in a little bit.
Looking forward to hearing about that, guys. Still ahead, Matt Kenseth looks for a repeat performance in Vegas. Rodney Childers in the number 4 car look to double down. And the top 5 moments in the history of Las Vegas, including a 61-year-old record being broken. NASCAR America continues after this.
When I started in 92, 93 watching racing, the Sprint Cup stuff to today, I mean, so many things have changed. It's amazing to watch what the sport does.
We're learning, we're enjoying the process. There's a bunch of new challenges right now with the new car, but I love this track, I love the area. One other thing to add to this racetrack and how you drive it, for whatever reason, it's been a very intense track, a track that bravery usually pays off, and I think that fits my driving style and works good for me here.
Bravery does pay off, and a lot still happening at the track in Las Vegas. Now, Kelly Stavis is with last week's winning crew chief, Rodney Childers.
Well, Rick, that new pairing of Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers proved to be a successful one early on, dominating week 2 in Phoenix. And Rodney, I'm sure you were confident going in, but are you surprised at all by just how quickly this team gelled and everything came together?
Yeah, it's really been something that you only dream of, really. You don't have cars like we had last week very often, and a lot of times when you have cars like that, you can't take advantage of them, and they don't win the race. So just fortunate that things went the way they did last weekend, and feel lucky that the team has really come, you know, and glued together the way they have. But it was a great win for us and a great way to start the season.
Now that you have that winner sticker on the car, how does that change either your strategy or approach moving forward?
Well, it'll definitely change our strategy a little bit when it comes down to fuel mileage races and other things like that. But overall, you know, our thought process is still going to be the same. We're still going to go try to win the race every week, no matter what the situation is. And we got to keep working hard and try to keep making our cars better and better each week.
You said that your Vegas car, in fact, is even better than the car in Phoenix, which is not only bad news for your competitors, but also suggests that you've got a lot of confidence to pull off a back-to-back win. How have these downforce changes affected, and how are they playing out on this mile-and-a-half track?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good car. It was built well and all that kind of stuff, but it really comes down to getting the right setup in it here at the racetrack. We struggled a little bit yesterday, but got the car going really good by the end of the day and feel confident about our chances on Sunday.
We heard Kevin say in Victory Lane that win really validated his moves in the offseason. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been great working with him, and our relationship, has grown more and more each day, and just everybody on the whole team, it's worked out really good, and everybody is gelled, and we all, have each other's backs and a lot of trust, within the team.
All right, a lot of people betting on the number 4 here in Vegas. Thank you, Rodney. Rick.
Thanks, Kelly. Rodney Childers began as a crew chief in 2005. In 2009, he landed at Michael Waltrip Racing and recorded that organization's first ever Cup win. Then moving to Stewart Haas this season, Childers has already made an impact, leading Kevin Harvick to the win at Phoenix. Sometimes Las Vegas boils down to numbers. We're going to see if we hit the numbers right today in our top 5. With 5 laps left in 2008 race, Jeff Gordon found himself chasing Carl Edwards for the win, but after drifting into Matt Kenseth, that left him slamming into the inside wall. Champ was bruised, but okay. He was well enough afterwards to demand that safer walls were everywhere in NASCAR. At number 4, still running a partial schedule, Danica Patrick broke Sarah Christian's 61-year record for the best finish for a female in NASCAR's top 3 series. Danica's 4th place is still the best result for a woman, well, for now. Las Vegas native Kyle Busch started his career on the short track known as the Bull Ring on the track grounds. Once he passed Jeff Burton and Clint Boyer in 2009, he knew he was set for victory.
Say good night, Gracie.
Given his ability to rack up wins in trucks and nationwide, it's surprising that this remains his only victory on the big track. Number 2 in 1998 Truck Series finale. Jack Sprague won the race, but Ron Hornaday's crew jumped for joy because he clinched the title. While both rivals celebrated on the infield, Hornaday's 2nd championship was won by a mere 3 points. The track's best victory battle came in 2006 when Jimmy Johnson edged Matt Kenseth at the line. It was only the 3rd race of the season, but already JJ's 2nd win. And poor Kenseth led 146 of the 270 laps, while Johnson only led 1, but it was the most important one, the last one. So Kenseth didn't win in that race, but he did win in Las Vegas last year. Here's Matt talking about taking home another victory.
I feel like every season there's pressure to get a win and get hopefully the first win, and you'll get multiples. But there's always pressure. I always think there is a little bit too, starting the year off strong and having some good runs. So hopefully we can get a win, and hopefully we can get it early, and race hard all summer, and hopefully be part of the group at the end going for a championship.
Some things don't change, like Matt Kenseth's abilities on mile-and-a-half tracks, but paint schemes do change, and we'll take a look at a few next. And Casey Mears is looking to end a long drought. NASCAR America continues. We're here to watch as some of the world's most unique cars go up for auction. It's Auctions America from Burbank, California, tonight, 10:30 Eastern on NBC SN. Let's switch gears quickly to Formula One. Sebastian Vettel made his F1 debut at the 2007 United States Grand Prix and currently reigns as the world champion. Vettel looks to pick up where he left off as the Formula One season gets underway next weekend.
He is as smooth as silk.
He is the headline. It's the rest of the field and him. This is trademark Vettel. Early on the opening lap, he just streaks away.
We are seeing something beyond phenomenal. An era that is absolutely beyond phenomenal.
Doing it in very much Vettel style. Sebastian Vettel just keeps racking up the numbers.
Yes! Fantastic. You're a 4-time world champion. You join the greats.
Vettel begins his quest for his 5th straight title next Saturday at the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne. It all begins with our F1 Countdown season preview Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed by both practice sessions live. The entire weekend of events can be seen right here on NBCSN, your home for motorsports. Today, IndyCar announced rule changes for Indy 500 qualifying. Each attempt remains at 4 laps. The field of 33 will be determined on Saturday, but the starting positions will all be determined on Sunday. They will erase all of the times from Saturday. First, rows 4 through 11 will be set. Then rows 1 through 3 will determine who has the pole as well. For more on the IndyCar changes, let's hear once again from our guys in Charlotte.
Well, we've got the IndyCar expert, Rick Wally-Dallenbach, and your thoughts on the new qualifying format that Rick just laid out for us.
Well, I think from a driver's perspective, they don't like it very much. The most terrifying laps you'll ever make is those 4 laps of qualifying in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
You can ask anybody that. So I think that's going to be tough for a lot of drivers because they have to do it twice. For a fan perspective, I think it's great. We really haven't had a legitimate bump day in probably over 4 or 5 years at the Speedway. So they're trying to create a lot more excitement in qualifying, and I love the idea. But I'm sure you're going to get different opinions from fans and drivers. But I like what they're doing.
The immediate thing you think about is Kurt Busch. How will this affect him with qualifying going so late into the day on Saturday?
That's going to be really, really difficult. I know it hardly ever rains in Indianapolis for the month of May.
No,
but
never.
You also got to throw that in. It could be a delay for 15 or 20 minutes, and that could really put him in a bind. I think he's going to have to make a decision on what's important for him that weekend. And I think the Indianapolis 500 has to be more important that weekend than the All-Star race. If it were the Indy 500 and the World 600, then it would be the World 600. But I think he's got to focus in on the IndyCar deal.
Yeah, because the new format for the All-Star race, Rick, as you know, qualifying on the night of the race, so that'll be around 5 or 6 o'clock. It's not been determined exactly when that will be yet, but that's going to make it very interesting for Kurt Busch trying to qualify into the Indianapolis 500 field and also race in the All-Star race in the same night.
Thanks, guys. So while Kurt Busch has double duty on his mind, Casey Mears is focused on one thing, and that is getting back to victory lane. Our Kelly Stavis caught up with him.
Well, Casey Mears has kicked off the season with a pair of top 15 finishes, including that 10th place showing at Daytona. And Casey, for a team like Germain Racing, have you guys met or possibly even exceeded your expectations early on?
Yeah, I mean, I think exceeded at this point. I mean, obviously, we want to continue to do better and grow and you know, have better results. But to start off solid like that's really good for our program. You know, it gives us a solid start to base everything off of. Obviously, we got to get through these mile-and-a-halves. Those are kind of been our Achilles heels. So relying on RCR and taking a look at what they have and you know, trying to progress that way should be a lot of help.
Do you feel like a sense of momentum or confidence brewing within the team?
Yeah, you know, everybody's really excited because I think, you know, both of those finishes didn't come easy. We avoided a lot at Daytona and had a lot of work prior to that, and we had a lot of work in Phoenix as well. I mean, we didn't start off like we wanted to on Friday. Saturday was pretty difficult, and the guys did a real good job, you know, assessing what our issues were, you know, making some good changes and making it good for Sunday. So, you know, in a lot of ways, we feel like we earned it. So, you know, at the end of the day, if we would have started off great and it just was a great weekend, we wouldn't know, you know, how would we rebound if we weren't doing well, and we did a really good job in Phoenix. So I was excited about that.
Mears is winless in his last 236 starts. The Sprint Cup Series record for starts between victories is 226 by Bill Elliott. Bill's 2001 win at Homestead came 7 years after his previous victory at Darlington in 1994. Since we're discussing winning, let's have Kyle Petty and Kenny Schrader give us their pyramid predictions from the touchscreen.
You go first, big guy.
Okay, I'm going to go first. My man Tony got hurt. He's good now, and he hasn't won a race in a while, and he is hungry. His car won last week. His team has won. He'll be right there.
That's a good pick. I'm going to go with some low-hanging fruit here, who just keeps winning races and championships, Jimmy Johnson. He's going to win a race. He's going to be in the chase. He's going to contend. Might as well go ahead and knock it out here in Vegas and get it out of the way.
Going out on a limb.
Way out on a limb on that one.
Well, while you're over there, put Cousin Carl in.
Cousin Carl for you. Okay,
yes.
Here we go.
2 prior Vegas wins. I just got a good feeling about him in this weekend.
All right, well, while you're over there, that's a good pick, but give me that Joe Gibbs race and Denny Hamlin over there. Won the last race on a 1.5-mile racetrack at Homestead. Came out of Daytona strong. Yeah, not so good at Vegas, but I'm telling you, these Gibbs guys, 7 out of 11 last year on a 1.5 miles. I'll take Hamlin.
Well, I'll give you another pick while you're at it.
Oh, you're going to give me another pick. This is good. You know we're trying to beat Jeff Burton here. So
yes.
If we're going to do that, then I'm going to go, oh, can't pull it. There we go. I'm going to go with last week's winner, Kevin Harvick. On a little bit of a roll, second race with Stewart Haas Racing, puts that thing in victory lane. Still out west. My man's still got the mojo.
Well, that whole Joe Gibbs Racing success on those tracks, I'm going with my man, Matt Kenseth, last year's winner, 7-time winner, but winner at Vegas. I'm going with him, Matt, for number 1.
That to win it all.
Yes. Now, do you got anybody better for number 1?
Oh, I got somebody better for number 1. I'm going to go back down here because my man's going to get it done, and I'm going to put Jimmy Johnson up there to win it all.
If we had just a little bit bigger pyramid, we'd really be good.
Well, we've got 6 chances to beat Jeff Burton. I think we're going to get it done this week.
Nice work, guys. And Kyle's pick, Jimmy Johnson, a 4-time winner in Vegas, was tied with Kevin Harvick last year for the most top 10 finishes on a 1.5-mile track. We transition from half-mile ovals to tracks all across the nation in the heart of racing. From the dirt tracks of Clary Speedway in Littleton, North Carolina, to Cleveland Speedway in Cleveland, Tennessee, down to Rome Speedway in Rome, Georgia. It's places like these that keep racing's heart beating. NASCAR America continues next.
I've been working.
Get closer to NASCAR every weekday, bringing you inside NASCAR and all motorsports. It's NASCAR America. Weekdays 5 Eastern, only on NBCSN. This day in NASCAR in 1965, NASCAR Hall of Famer Junior Johnson scored the only Richmond win of his driving career. In 1993, Davey Allison took the checkered flag at Richmond in what turned out to be his final Cup win. And in 2004, Kyle Busch made his Sprint Cup debut in front of the hometown crowd at Las Vegas. Change is inevitable. Some of the cars this weekend in Las Vegas will be sporting new paint schemes, like the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's kick-starting his night with black and green. How about Carl Edwards going back to the Aflac Duck on the 99? Or the 24, that's the Retro Flames of the Exalted 24. Danica Patrick, she's got a new scheme, the Aspen Dental number 10. That's blue and white, not green this week. And the black and yellow Cheerios number 3 of Austin Dillon. How about the 3M Red Cross matte black number 16 for Greg Biffle? That car looks fast. And Team 17, well, they have zestified their car with light blues. The Zest car. And Jimmy Johnson, he's sporting Cobalt tools in the black with white stripes. And by the way, Cobalt, sponsor for this weekend's race. Well, we got our final predictions from Kyle and Ken. Now it's time to hear from our guys in Charlotte. What do you think, guys?
Well, I'll let the expert have honor, so have at it, Wally.
Okay, well, I'm not going to be Captain Obvious and pick the 4 car this weekend. I think the Penske cars are going to be very strong. Obviously, we saw them last week at Phoenix. They were right there. I think they're going to be really, really strong this weekend because it's a similar racetrack. I think I'm going to go for Keselowski.
Rick, you can call me Captain Obvious. I'm going to go Kevin Harvick this weekend, only because on Monday Rodney Childers told me that he felt like this Las Vegas car in the wind tunnel by far superior to the car that they had at Phoenix. So I'm going to go with Captain Obvious here. I'm going to go Kevin Harvick.
All right, there, Captain Obvious. We'll see if you or any of our guys pick the right winner this weekend. From the entire NASCAR America family here on NBCSN, thanks for joining us and have a great weekend. Premier League Match Pack is up next, followed by Pro Football Talk.